All right, Schlockmeister fans, we're going to watch a very early Tom Selleck movie called Daughters of Satan. Let's check it out. There's a topless woman in some sort of witch's coven being tortured.
The 9 names of the principal powers of darkness.
Her name is... A little while later, we meet Tom Selleck. He plays James Robertson. He's in some curio shop in Manila, interested in a painting there. That's Vic Diaz behind the counter.
Very nice, completely unworthy.
He's gonna buy that painting.
Soto did 6 paintings. Different views of the burning of the witches here in Manila.
I'll take it. How much is it?
He immediately shows it off to his wife, Chris, who notices that one of the witches being burned looks just like her.
Man, it really hit me. This girl in the center here, she could be your sister. Or you.
Could she?
It's the face, darling. It's your face.
When it was something out there.
She thinks she hears something outside. Things are getting a little witchy in the Robertson house.
Oh, no.
Later on, he notices that some of the things in the painting seem to be disappearing.
Not anything missing.
Like the dog that was there.
The dog's gone. Or almost. Look how...
And soon after that, a dog appears at their house, as does a housekeeper named Juana.
My husband, Jim Robertson, Juana Rios.
Miss Juana, etc.
Getting pretty difficult. No, it's something I bought for myself, but what's driving me absolutely out of my mind is the fact that several of the figures in the painting could possibly fade after 370 years.
Later on, he hears something outside and he gets bonked on the head. He's going to escape from this, though. So the dog has a collar and it has an address on it, so he goes to it. It's a mortuary.
I should say not. Don't you be named Rex or Duke or...
There's the address, 666 Calle Revelacion.
Later on, he gets attacked. He thinks he might be crazy, so he sees a psychiatrist.
Painting, fading. One of the witches in the painting was just like my wife, another like our cook.
During their session, a crazy woman barges in. It's Kitty, the woman from the coven earlier.
I don't know, Doctor. It's weird. I've only been in the Philippines 4 months, and the whole world goes insane. That woman in there, she looks like the third witch in the painting. That year and the name of the group.
So Jim and Chris go on a little picnic somewhere, and she pulls out a knife, and it seems like she wants to try to stab him, but every time she goes for it, she chickens out.
That dog.
One night, Juana gives Chris a note. These two seem to be in cahoots. It seems that she is seduced or something possessed by these witchy things and is in fact trying to kill Jim. We don't know why. Now she's setting some sort of smoke bomb in her bedroom. It doesn't kill him though. He wakes up and creates some new air for him, some fresh air.
Notice how bright the colors in the painting are now. All the little witches are in bed, sweeping the sleep.
The painting is nice and bright now because everything in that painting is not awake.
You know,
Later on, the painting. He goes and finds a statue of Mary, thinking that'll shut it up. And it does. Later on, the doctor was driving away, the psychiatrist. This little lady puts some sort of, then she tries to seduce Jim.
You're not going to touch me with a 10-foot pole.
for your information, I don't need any erotic assists.
He finds another painting. This time, the executioner looks like him. He's allegedly a descendant of the real person who executed those witches years ago.
Every one of them has died young. The pact has never been broken.
So Chris has been seduced by the witches, and she's supposed to kill him because he's a descendant of the person who killed the witches. And these are the descendants of the witches, I guess, or the reincarnation of them. Well, they spare her and basically say, we're going to give you another chance to kill your husband.
Here. Take it.
All right, with the help of a couple other people there, they knock out her husband,
How much time do we have? About 54 hours headed for me.
and they have a plan.
Enough to spot him and take care of her alibi.
So they put him in a car on a cliff, knocked out, and they put some ice on the wheels, and then the ice, in theory, will melt, and the car will roll. And with Jim still knocked out, that's exactly what starts to happen. The car somehow starts on fire as it rolls down the hill.
Wait, don't tell me.
And then the ladies wake up from whatever witch's trance they were in, and
Or a cook.
they don't even know who they are, or who each other is.
Housekeeper? Your name is Wani. Or Wana. Well,
Chris goes back home, and it turns out her husband managed to jump from that car just before going off the cliff. But I guess with being alive, it put her back into witch mode again, and as they're making out on the couch, all right, let's talk about Daughters of Satan. This is a movie I've seen only one time prior to today, probably back in 2002 or so. It showed up on one of the movie channels like Stars, or maybe it was the Movie Channel. I don't know, one of those channels. I taped it then, watched it then, didn't remember a damn thing about it. Watched today, and yeah. So anyway, what we have here is Tom Selleck. He's in Manila. He's with his wife Chris. They are the Robertsons. He goes into this little like pawn shop or something and buys this painting. It's a painting of some witches being burned at a stake. He takes it home. I'm not sure why he wanted that, but he does. Meanwhile, there is a coven of witches in town run by this woman named Kitty, and the movie starts with her torturing this woman. We don't know what's going on with that coven yet, but anyway, he takes this painting home. And one of the witches looks just like his wife. They have the same face and everything. Next thing you know, his wife is starting to get like possessed by witches, and she joins this coven. It turns out that Tom Selleck's character, Jim, is a descendant of the person. I guess the painting we saw of the witches being burned was a real event that took place in 1592 in Manila, I guess. I don't know. And there's a curse on all the subsequent offspring of the men, or the descendants, I should say, of the guy who burned them. The guy in the photo, or painting, oh, never mind. Anyway, so it was Tom Selleck's ancestor who had killed him. So it's basically he's supposed to die now because all of his ancestors have died young too. So they're trying to get him, and they entrance his wife, Chris, and she tries to kill him like with a knife at one point, but she chickens out. She tries to like murder him with a smoke bomb or something in the bedroom. I don't know what the hell that was all about. That didn't work either. They take her back to the coven and they're like, look, you failed. But then they give her one more chance to do it. So with the help of a housekeeper and Kitty, they knock him out, and then they set him up in a sports car on the side of a cliff, and they put some ice on under the tires, and then when the ice melts, the car is going to roll. I don't know why they couldn't have just let it roll, but whatever. And that's what happens. But what they don't know is that he jumped out just in time before the car went over the hill. After that event happened, they thought he was dead, and the three witches, I guess, from the coven kind of came out of their witch trance, and they didn't even really know what was happening. So they were like possessed, I guess. I don't know. She goes back home, and she sees her husband there, and she embraces him, and everything seems to be fine. But then she sees the painting on the wall, and she gets into witch mode again. She grabs a knife. She stabs Tom Selleck in the back. That's how our film ends. That is The Daughters of Satan right there. Put out by Screen Factory. Nice little Blu-ray here. It was not a horrible film. It's not the greatest film in the world, but it's okay. A couple of nude scenes thrown in from Kitty and Chris, as well as another lady at the beginning of the movie was being tortured. That's about it. Vic Diaz is in this movie. He's, I think, in every single movie that came out of the Philippines from the 60s to the 2000s. I think he was in every one of them, including this one there. If like they were filming a movie there, Vic Diaz was in it. He plays the guy who sold him the painting in this movie. But yeah, 1971, Tom Selleck, or actually 72. I actually watched the movie he did right before this. It was called 7 Minutes, a Russ Meyer movie. I actually watched that last night. I didn't even realize Tom Selleck was in it. So I've seen 2 back-to-back Tom Selleck movies from 1971 and 72 in the last 24 hours. And very young in these movies here. I think it was like his second and third movie, or third and fourth movie, what we got here. So that's it. And he uses the word magnum, by the way, in the dialogue at one point. He's holding a gun and says it's magnum. And he became Magnum later on, Magnum PI. So anyway, that's Daughters of Satan. Nice little relic from the early 70s. The picture quality is fantastic here, so Scream Factory did a great job with this. Kind of like an unknown film, though. Not a lot of talk about Daughters of Satan, but it's not bad. Check it out. Leave some comments. Let me know what you think about it. Daughters of Satan. Watch it. Bye.